Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to our studios here at GBC News, your news and governance channel, and GTV. I am Rahmatu Mahmoud Chawando. Let's begin with Asin North, where voting is underway to elect a member of parliament for the constituency. 41,168 constituents are expected to turn out at the 99 polling stations in what has been described as a critical by-election that will determine who controls the country's legislature. Our correspondent Thomas Donko is on the line to tell us more. Hello, good afternoon, Thomas. Hello, good afternoon, Thomas. If you can hear me, what is the latest update?
Yes.
Thomas.
Hello. Yeah. Yes, I'm speaking from Asin North, where they are casting the vote for the by-election. Currently, it's almost 2 something. Then the voters are not coming like in the morning. So I think for now, everybody is relaxing to see the latecomers should come over to vote. I'm with one of the directors of the Electoral Commission here to give us account of what is happening on the ground. So, yeah, so, boss.
Okay, thank you. I'm Solomon Benter. I am the PO for the GAJSSA polling station. Actually, we started the work at exactly 7 o'clock as per the rule. We were expecting 441 people to come and cast their vote. Out of that, we have currently served 358 applicants who have casted their votes. Now, in terms of atmosphere, we have the policemen here, so the place is serene. The only issue here was that when the aspirant came, because some of the electorate do not even know them, there were a bit of noise here and there. Another thing that we experienced was somebody was trying to take a snapshot of the vote casts. These are the only 2 things that we have encountered. So far, the materials, machines, everything is working properly. Thank you.
Yeah, this is the voice of the Electoral Commission presiding officer. Says that they have everything calm, they have no challenges at all, and we are hoping to have it till 5 o'clock before the counting starts.
That was our correspondent Thomas Donko reporting live from Asin North, giving us update of happenings in there, and we're told voting will end at 5 p.m. We have the line pollster Ben Efson to speak to us on the ongoing election. Hello, good afternoon, Ben Efson, and thanks for joining us. The voting pattern in Asin North is not predictable considering the history. What is likely to, this time around, influence the choice of the people? Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Efson. We're expecting pollster Ben Efson to give us his views on voting pattern in Asin North underway. We will try.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Efson.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for joining us on GBC News Hour.
Thank you.
The voting pattern in Asin North has not been predictable considering the history. What is likely this time to influence the choice of the people?
Well, I think that it will be a close election but I think that the NPP's candidate will scrape through narrowly.
Okay, then will you say that Mr. James Gyekye Quayson can also influence the voting pattern in some way?
Oh, I think that his earlier sympathy that he had from seems to have fizzled when it became evident that the NDC had disqualified him from contesting in 2012-2016 on the same grounds of non-renunciation of his Canadian citizenship. And I think that the NPP candidates had done quite a bit of philanthropic work over the years. And that is what may let him sneak ahead.
Well, this is an election that could change or maintain the current situation of the legislature. In case this election goes in the favor of NDC or the MPP, what should we expect?
You are saying
in terms of governance.
Hello?
Hello. In case it goes in the favor of the NPP or the NDC, what kind of governance should we expect?
Well, I think that definitely in Parliament, it will affect how the two sides of the House will operate. But more importantly, Mr. Mahama, the NDC presidential candidate, has raised the stakes by saying that the Asi North election will be a reflection of the governance of the MPP. So the stakes are quite high for both parties.
So from what you've seen and heard this morning, how would you rate this by-election?
Well, I think when people are voting, there's nothing else you can do. So obviously there will be a relatively higher turnout. But when people are voting, there's nothing you can do to wait till the results come out.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. That was Pollster Mr. Ben Epson, who just spoke to us. Studies show that young people listen and understand their peers more than their teachers, followed by their parents, with law enforcement being the least. For this reason, it has become imperative to increase peer education in schools so as to boost the confidence level of students, improve their emotional cognitive skills, and the transfer of knowledge among the youth, especially in the use of illicit drugs. The Eastern Regional Commander of the National Narcotics Control Commission, Mr. Felix Safo-Yeboah, disclosed this during the regional celebration of World Drug Day in Koforidua, the Eastern Regional Capital.
The celebration of the World Drug Day in Koforidua was on the theme, People First, Stop Stigmatization and Discrimination, Strengthening Prevention. It was to afford stakeholders the opportunity to share ideas on how to help people with substance use disorders and also help their families to identify the need to show love to such victims. It brought together students from Oforipeni Senior High School, Oyoko Methodist SHS, Suhum Islamic Girls SHS, Wesley International School, St. Dominic RC Basic School, and representatives of the security services and those from the health and education sectors. The Narcotics Control Commission Act 2020, Act 1019, ensures that substance use disorders is now treated as a public health issue, which is a huge jump in the fight. This, the farmers of the Act believe, will now afford families and their affected relations the opportunity to seek medical and professional assistance before it becomes too late, to prevent negative peer influence with attempts to lure the youth into substance use and its abuse. The Commission has started the formation of drug awareness clubs in schools. The aim is to train the youth as peer-to-peer educators. It is also to arm the youth with the needed set of skills to set goals and work to achieve them, even at their tender ages, so as to serve as role models to their peers. The Senior Narcotics Control Officer in the Eastern Region, Mr. Felix Safoyebwa, asked all to join the train to educate the young ones, especially on problems associated with drug use.
Let us do all we can to prevent first-time drug use while educating those who have already fallen victims to substance use on the importance of early intervention such as counseling, rehabilitation, and family support. Few years ago, it was difficult for people with substance use disorders to come out to seek medical and professional help without being afraid of stigma, arrest, and probable prosecution.
The Chief Director at the Eastern Regional Coordinating Council, Mr. John Donko, called for intensification of awareness on the dangers associated with drug use. Various stakeholders hailed the formation of drug awareness clubs in schools. A logo for the Drug Awareness Club was launched. A drama troupe from Oyoko Mercedes Senior High School did a sketch on substance use disorders and effects.
At the last count, incumbent Julius Maada Bio was reported as leading in ballots counted so far in Sierra Leone's elections. The main opposition challenger, Samura Kamara, was also claiming victory. On Sunday, Mr. Kamara said live ammunition were fired into his party's headquarters as he held a news conference. Saturday's vote took place in a tense atmosphere as the culmination of a campaign marred by several violent incidents. Mr. Kamara describes the election as daylight robbery. As we wait for updates on that election, we have on the line a political marketing strategist, Mr. Chris Atadika, to help us examine the situation in the Anglophone West African nation, Sierra Leone. Hello, good afternoon, sir, and thanks for joining us.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon to your listeners. Thank you for having me.
How would you assess the current political situation in Sierra Leone, especially after the release of 60% of the votes?
In fact, I believe that that's an effect on the part of the Electoral Commission, because the first question one would ask is the 40% that have not yet been counted. Does that number have any influence on the final result? And so to have an commission put out 60% of votes counted and say that the incumbent got a little above 1 million and the runner-up got slightly below 800,000, and to put out that the incumbent is leading, therefore that he is the president-elect, and to put it out there that 48 hours we are going to put out the final result, I don't think it's being fair to all of the parties that are contested.
Both the sitting and incumbent president are claiming victory. What is the implication? What does the implication mean for West Africa and the country as a whole?
In fact, let's look at a bit of history to give us context to this competition. Now, Kamara and President Bio are contesting each other for the second. Back in 2018, we had this situation where we were testing each other, and it was fierce. But obviously, President Bio came out winner of that particular election. But you see, when you have... Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was hearing a bit of feedback. Now, but when you have that Honorable Kamara, who is a former finance minister of President Bio, at the time he was leading the regime in 1996 in Sierra Leone, contesting each other, and it tells you that there's a bit of agreement between the two candidates. So, for the Electoral Commission to do such a thing in this process, obviously you will see the Honorable Kamara said his supporters to go out of the street and say that they want the election. the same way the incumbent President Biden came out to start claiming victory. Now, what this does, or what this is showing the rest of West Africa, is that we need to be careful. The power of the incumbency should not be used in the electoral process. And I believe that is why we have organizations like the African Union coming out to invalidate this particular process that has gone on in Sierra Leone. It's not fair to have only 60% of the votes counted, and then the Electoral Commission put out a statement to suggest that the incumbent president is leading the race. So the power of the incumbency is very, very important, that we do not see incumbent leaders using the Electoral Commission as a tool to get them re-elected. And so for other countries who are going to have elections in this period, for example, Ghana, we've already started conversations about the president's appointment of people who are known party members of his party to the Electoral Commission. Now, what this does is that it dampens public trust and confidence in the whole electoral process, because then people believe that somebody would be appointed there to the bidding of the incumbent president. Okay, so it's worrying that this is happening in Sierra Leone, but the point is that we, as the people, civil society organizations, would speak against misconduct like this of electoral organizations that we have in our period, like which is the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission plays a refereeing role, so they need to be very fair and make sure that the process is set by all parties involved in the election.
So, Chris, in your view, what then do you think political actors in Sierra Leone can do to ensure that there is calm in the country?
Repeat the question.
In your view, what do you think political actors can do to ensure that there is calm in the country? I mean, in Sierra Leone.
I mean, for now, we need everybody on board. Sierra Leone has had history of conflict in the past, which has, badly affected the development of the country. So, and also with the incumbent president being known as somebody who has led the military regime in the country before, it would not give signals to people in the country. So I believe that civil society organizations in Sierra Leone, if they have a peace council, I mean, members of the clergy, everybody is supposed to come together as leaders to help to bring calm in that in the region. And I believe that the president, who is the incumbent in this particular election, to do the honorable thing by telling the Electoral Commission to do what is right. Because I believe everybody is just looking is for a free and process.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris Atadeka, for your time. That was Mr. Chris Atadeka, who is a political marketing strategist and giving us updates on aftermath of elections in Sierra Leone. The Judicial Council, led by Justice Gabriel Poaman, has called on the Talensi Traditional Council in the Upper East region. The visit is to strengthen the existing partnership between the Traditional Council and the judiciary.
On Friday, March 10, 2023, a supervising High Court judge, Justice Alexander Graham, convicted Nab Yakora Manti, Divisional Chief of Bari, and Richard Sunday Yimbil, the Secretary of the Talensi Traditional Council, over what the judge contended was an attempt to influence him when the two visited his office to invite him to the palace of the paramount chief. The invitation, according to the Traditional Council, was to enable the council to put its concerns on various land litigations in the area before the judge. However, it says the invitation was misconstrued by the judge, Justice Alexander Graham. It is to make amends with the Traditional Council and also restore existing relationship between the council and the judiciary that the team led by a justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Gabriel Pullman, called on the Traditional Council.
Another aspect of cooperation between the judiciary and the traditional authorities in Ghana has been in the area of customary arbitration and mediation, whereby at times the court finds it appropriate to encourage or even involve traditional authorities to arbitrate or mediate in disputes that are filed in court, but we the judges take the view that those disputes are best amicably resolved after the court.
Justice Gabriel Pullman was not happy with the course of events at the Bolgatanga High Court.
The aspect of the matter that was of great concern to the then Chief Justice, His Lordship Justice Emile Boa, the current Chief Justice, and then the general membership of the Judicial Council, was the effects the incident appeared to have had on the existing cordial relationship between the Tongorana and his elders and the judiciary in Bolgatanga.
The chief, Tongorana Kobil Sonalagiltan, was grateful for the gesture and pledged his commitment to work in harmony with the judiciary in the region.
We are taking this as an event that has come and it is past. So we will take it that from today and forever, we shall be friends.
Members of the delegation included President of the Ghana Bar Association, former Director General of Ghana Education Service, Professor Mankwa, and senior staff of the Judiciary Service.
Government is sourcing a World Bank loan facility to expand their wastewater treatment plan. When complete, the number of wastewater treatment institutions will increase from the current 14 to 29 in the Ashanti region and supply many households in the area with water. During an inspection visit to the treatment plant, the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Madam Cecilia Dapa, warned the management of the facility not to accept liquid waste from especially health facilities because it may be poisonous.
The Asafo wastewater treatment plant was built in 1994 and managed by the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, KMA. The plant receives effluent from 14 institutions, including industries, local assemblies, and some 250 homes from the Kumasi metropolis. The facility has various chambers that accommodate the liquid waste at the different stages during the treatment process. However, there is the need to rehabilitate and expand the plant to help improve on treatment and broaden the supply base. Meanwhile, children from the slum around the plant have been fishing from some of the ponds for sale or consumption. During a working visit to the facility, the Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation, Madam Cecilia Dapa, hinted that an aquaculture would be established from the treated wastewater, adding that the rehabilitation and expansion of the facility could extend its lifespan up to 2045. She, however, cautioned users to be prepared to pay the appropriate rates.
You heard me saying that it's not going to be business as usual. Whoever has a partnership with the KMA will make sure, as a monitoring and policy making ministry for this sector, will make sure that the right thing is done, meaning the right amount of charges will be effected to be able to generate money to sustain. Government shouldn't be the one to fund, to maintain, and to do extra works as and when necessary. I think the project should be self-financing.
The minister also inspected ongoing reclamation of the Oti landfill site in the Astokwa municipality. For the past 20 years, the Oti landfill site has been a dump site for all solid and liquid waste materials from the Kumasi metropolis and Busumtwi district. Residents say the site has been a major health concern to them. However, since the beginning of the decommissioning and reclamation exercise, leachate and its attendant odor, houseflies and other conditions have substantially reduced. The exercise being carried out by Zoom Lion is about 70% complete and is scheduled for completion in November 2023. The project entails a road network, gas entrapment and landscaping. The sanitation minister said the landscaping of the site would be modeled after the Green Ghana initiative to serve as a recreational facility. Meanwhile, a portion of the 63-acre landfill site has still been reserved for use by Oti and its nearby communities for the disposal of household waste.
One of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites in Ghana as the Jomoro district of the Western region in Zulinzo, which means surface of water, has been flooded after a heavy downpour. The community, which is entirely made up of silt and harbors over 500 people, is almost submerged after it rained continuously for 7 days. School pupils have also been affected as the Nzulinzo Primary School has been destroyed by flood. Some residents are said to have been evacuated on boats to Benyan, a nearby community in the area, to seek shelter. According to some of the residents, a similar event happened some 10 years ago, but that was not as serious as this one. The tourist attraction in Zulinzo was added to the UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2000 on January 17th in the cultural category and has since witnessed significant increase in both local and foreign tourist visits. Let's take a breather. We're back shortly with some more news. Don't go away.
Hello, it's time to talk some business with me, Esther Edu Ohumeu. The Ghana cedi has gained over 0.21% against the dollar last week, bringing its year-to-date loss to about 14%. The cedi is currently trading at 10 cedis 90 pesos to the dollar at the interbank market, and 11 cedis 50 pesos at some forex bureaus. The performance of the cedi has been attributed to an ease in the demand pressures on the dollar. Despite a strong performance last week, analysts expect the local currency would exhibit a mixed performance by close of this week. The local currency, however, lost 0.33% week on week against the pound and 0.79% week on week against the euro. A call has been made to have intentional and targeted investments in the creative sector across Africa. This is according to panelists at the Afri-Eximbank meetings that just ended. This is the only way players in the creative industry in Africa can fully assess the benefits to be accrued in the over $2 trillion creative economy. The creative economy contributes just over 6.1% to global gross domestic product, averaging between 2% and 7% of national GDPs around the world. According to UN estimates, the creative economy industries generate annual revenues of over $2 trillion and accounts for nearly 50 million jobs worldwide. UNCTAD, having tracked the trade in creative goods and services for close to 20 years, has indicated that the growth rate of creative economy exports more often outpace that of other industries globally. Africa's creative sector is diverse and includes visual and performing arts, crafts, cultural festivals, films, painting, sculptures, photography, fashion, among others. At the just ended Afri-Eximbank meetings on the creative arts sector, the chief executive of Ebony Life Media, Mo Abdu, said the potential in the creative industry is enormous, which calls for bigger investments to be able to chalk some success.
We need to invest in the sector. We keep playing around, and we're literally just at the tip of the iceberg, and there is so much potential within our industry, but we have to make the necessary investment. And investment means collaboration. It means capacity building. It means setting up those treaties. It means reaching out to the world and saying, come and work with us. Imagine if we have an African blockbuster that has blockbuster stars in it. It's about collaboration. Right. And we can do that.
The Netflix Director of Policy in Sub-Saharan Africa, Madam Shola Sani, said policymakers should also make policies that would ensure that the private sector is well resourced to participate fully in the creative arts sector.
The building blocks have to be put in place, not just the structural challenges, but also the policy infrastructure, as I like to say. Case in point, creative industry professionals and storytellers can now access loans, for instance, to finance their films. But on what terms are they accessing those loans? What are interest rates like? Why does a storyteller or filmmaker have to mortgage their personal house to put a story on screen?
The coronavirus pandemic closed traditional areas of life, and many people took up to craft, read books, watched endless series of films connected to digital concerts, or shopped online for the latest fashion. This, according to panelists, helped to sustain the African creative economy till present by offering industry players more digital and innovative means to rake in more revenue. Let's now go to the Forex and Commodity Board. ahead. Thanks for watching.
There are strong
Welcome to the international segment. Kenya has launched an online register with records of all convicted sexual offenders, which is expected to enhance justice for victims. Chief Justice Martha Koome said the automation of the database will ensure easy access to information on convicted sex offenders, facilitating expedited justice. She said this would help justice authorities to monitor and supervise sexual offenders after they are released from prison. The public can also, upon request, get access to the database. The Chief Justice said this will enable them to take precautionary measures to protect themselves and their children. Let's take a breather. We're back shortly with some more news. Welcome to the sports segment. A former Black Satellite and Metro striker Mark Edu Amofa has launched his foundation, the AA Sports International. It is aimed at offering opportunities to young Ghanaian footballers to develop their talents.
The event was graced by the Chief of Ashamani, Anan Ajo, football administrators, ex-players and football fans. The AA Sports International has been bettered to create a new path in football that seeks to enrich the lives of the youth through power of sports with initiatives that promote accessibility, fair and abuse-free sports for the youth. The former Asante Kotoko forward is focused on offering opportunities to the young Ghanaian child with emphasis on balancing education and football, highlighting the need to create awareness that young players can pursue both.
We want to provide an avenue where young footballers can find comfort in pursuing their dreams without giving up their education. We are looking to provide training kits, equipment, scouting, education, and even more importantly, mentoring to aspiring young footballers from all around the country, irrespective of their language, personality, or gender. As our slogan says, sports equality for all.
The chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, GALCA, Mr. Kujo Fiano, said the foundation has come at the right time.
Life after football. We want to use him as an instrument to tell retired footballers that after retiring from the field, there are other opportunities out there for them. And he's ready to help them. Those who want to stick to the books, those who want to be technical, whatever they want to do, he's a shining example. The second one is giving back to society. He wants us to know that when society builds you up, it is an obligation for you also to give back to society. Then number 3 is to give the Ghanaian child, be it a girl or a boy, a life or future. Looking at where he came from and where he is today, he thinks that there are a lot of our younger brothers and sisters who are also facing those challenges. But he was lucky to make it to the top, and he wants to offer a helping hand to some of those kids to also make a future.
EA Sports International is a legitimately registered non-political, non-profit sports organization in Ghana and the United States. Its owner, Mark Edua Mufa, having served in the U.S. Army, officially retired in 2022 and currently doubles as the chief executive of Unique Sports Talent Worldwide. EA Sports International has already started operations and is expected to roll out several programs soon.
Ghana's hope of securing a spot in the 2023 FIBA Under-16 African Championship were dashed despite a hard-fought victory against arch rivals Nigeria with a score of 47-45.
Jesse number one for Nigeria with the ball right now. Gives the ball to Shuza 3, and yes!
The intense three-day competition took place at the Eden Heights Sports Complex in the capital, Accra. In the Zone 3 qualifiers, Ghana's Under-16 boys team managed to clinch a narrow 2-point win over the highly regarded Nigerian team, which had previously dominated Cote d'Ivoire with a convincing 67 points to 38 victory in the tournament's opening match. However, a surprising 65-68 overtime loss to Cote d'Ivoire proved costly for Ghana as they trailed behind Nigeria in the standings based on goal difference, resulting in their failure to secure the sole qualification ticket to the upcoming continental tournament in Monastir, Tunisia, scheduled to take place in 2 weeks' time. All three nations in the division concluded the zonal qualifiers with one win and one loss in the round-robin format. However, Nigeria's superior goal difference set them apart as the top team among their regional rivals. In the girls division, Ghana also fell short of qualifying for the African competition, suffering 2 defeats against Nigeria. Ghana faced a heavy 24-73 loss in the first game and a challenging 17-65 defeat in the second encounter against their Nigerian counterparts. The result means the Nigerians have qualified for the FIBA Africa World Qualifier scheduled for Tunisia.
Stolen, Shehu with the ball, and beautiful crafts there.
74-73. Today, it's 65-17. The Nigerians have gained qualification and they take a bow. Everyone is cheering them now, including all the Ghanaian fans.
Coach Ibrahim Tonko says his side are determined to beat Morocco and advance to the next stage of the competition. Goalkeeper Ibrahim Dallat also says the Black Meteors are aware of their responsibility on them and are well prepared for that.
After each game, you come out with your feelings, and I told the boys my feelings, and everything is good now. We have to prepare for the next game. Definitely, yeah, we have today and to get everything on course. So definitely, I'm cool now, and we are ready to the game tomorrow.
We are very prepared. As we won our first game, all of us won the first game. You know, probably it will be a nice game tomorrow, and for the players, we are very prepared, and also we are going all out for the game, and we know the outcome of the game will determine the qualification for both teams. So in camp, we are cool, no pressure. We are just coming out to give our best, and inshallah, what comes in, we give thanks to Almighty Allah.
Back and now to some appeal stories. 14-year-old Aaron Numuswo is battling for survival on life support at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, where an appeal is being made to Ghanaians to donate towards his treatment. Aaron has been on admission at the hospital for about 1 month, and his bill is close to 40,000 Ghana cedis. Yet doctors project he may need additional 50,000 cedis to continue with the treatment.
Consultant neurosurgeon Dr. Emmanuel Vado says the patient came in a semi-comatose state and has had 3 surgeries already.
First of all, he came with a lot of swelling in the brain following an infection to the sinuses. After that, after the operation, he developed another infection more to the brain, to the extent that he developed what we call brain abscess. That is like a boil in the brain. Okay, and he did very well after the 2 surgeries, but he began having some problems in the lung and the heart, and as a result, he went back a bit in his recovery process.
Aaron Nomosua is a JHS1 student at the Teviepa Deme Basic School in Ho. Aaron was full of life until he began to exhibit symptoms of multiple medical conditions. Madame Helen Nomosua said her son had incessantly complained of headache since his 14th birthday, but could not be accurately diagnosed at any of the health facilities visited. From the Volta Regional Hospital, he was referred to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital for further management, where the conditions were identified. But for that timely intervention, Aaron would have been dead by now. He is currently at the intensive care unit, where the cost of treatment is said to be very high. At the time the news team visited the hospital, Aaron's bill was estimated at 40,000 cedis, but he needs to raise more money.
The medications we ask the patient to buy every 2 days are very, very expensive. So we cannot foretell right now how much the burden, the financial burden will be for the parents, but it will range from 30,000 to 40,000 to 50,000 Ghana cedi. Okay, we don't know for sure.
The family is appealing to the public for funds to support Aaron's treatment.
Dra muchroma ye ni niam aye fem na me ba no odi yawo de o fem le nya de kitwa me sire wiase amanyina so mo mboa me na me ba no ho ntono.
I am calling upon the compassionate heart of all the Ghanaians and even foreigners, because we need to save this young man's life in order for him to accomplish God's given purpose.
Donors who wish to assist can do so through Ecobank Ghana, account name Helena Helen Nomosua, account number 144-100-291-2684, or through MTN mobile money number 0244-482-727, account name Helen Tete. No amount is too small.
No amount is too small to support Aaron's treatment. And now to entertainment. The Accra High Court has adopted an out-of-court settlement agreement filed by dancehall artist Charles Ni Ama Mensah, also known as Shatta Wale, and his former manager Lawrence Esiama Hansen, known as Bull God, in a defamation suit. The lawyers from both sides informed the court about the settlement terms before the hearing of the case could start.
At the last court sitting on June 13, 2023, lawyers for Shatta Wale prayed the court to grant them a 2-week adjournment to enable them to file the terms of settlement, a request that was subsequently granted by the court presided over by Justice Joseph Agyemang Eduowusu on Tuesday, June 27, 2023. Dr. Justice Remsai, lawyer for Lawrence Esiama Hansen, also known as Bull God, told the court that the parties have completed the terms of settlement and same filed. The lawyer consequently prayed the court to adopt the settlement terms between the parties and same be adopted by the court as a consent judgment. Meanwhile, Major Selassie Atuo, lawyer for Shatta Wale, informed the court of the death of Madam Cynthia Kwaku, a managing partner at the firm. Ms. Kwaku is said to have passed on last Tuesday after a short illness. Bugod sued Shatta Wale following a publication he made on his social media page last November, accusing him of the murder of Fenwick Otri, who was the manager of musician Kwao Kese. Shatta Wale also made other allegations against Bugod. Bugod claimed the series of allegations against him were malicious and defamatory and sought damages against Shatta Wale.
There's no bad blood. I mean, we are not enemies. He will forever be my brother. You know, I have no qualms with him. We just don't work, that's all.
I be different artists, I know be like your artist. Oh, when you look my face, do I look like your artist? Oh, I say I be different artists, I know be your artist. Oh, I say you know if you push me to do what you want, I know be driving school. Me I dey follow my lane, you know say I be rising youth. I said I'm trying to fail my talent, but I pass through. If you know be my fans.
This is how we wrap up News Hour at 2. Thanks for your time. Good afternoon.